Today, we are going to sum up the chapter, the last lesson, by discussing a few more short type questions, which is in the core course of English for HS second year as well as for class 12. A very important question from this chapter is, what were the unusual things experienced by Franz on the day of the last lesson? Franz experienced many unusual things on the day of the last lesson. At first, Franz noticed that the whole school seemed to be as quiet as Sunday morning. Usually, when the school began, there was a great bustle that could be heard out in the street. Next, Franz was surprised to see that all of his friends were already in their places, and Emil behaved Franz with love, although he was late for school. Next, Franz was surprised to see that Emil wore his occasional dress that included a beautiful green coat, a frilled shirt, and a little black silk cap that he never wore on usual days except on prize days or inspection days. Then the most surprising thing was awaiting for Franz. He saw that some of the villagers occupied the back benches of the classroom. How did Franz perform when his turn came out to recite on the day of the last lesson? On the day of the last lesson, Franz was still wondering and observing the situation when he heard his name called out. It was his turn to recite, but poor Franz got mixed up in the first word. But to his surprise, Emil did not blame him for that. According to Emil, only Franz was not responsible for that unfortunate situation. His parents as well as his teacher Emil were also responsible. Next question, how did Emil say farewell to his students and the village elders in the last lesson? In the last lesson, the way of saying farewell of Emil to all was really very heart-touching. When the church clock struck 12, the sound of Angelus was coming. At the same moment, the sound of trumpet by Prussian soldier was also coming. Emil stood up. He wanted to say something, but he could not say. Unable to express his feelings, he wrote on the blackboard as large as he could, "Vive la France." That means, "Long live France." Then he made a gesture that means the school was over.